This lesson is about job interviews. So, what are we going to learn in this lesson? We are going to learn some common questions asked in a job interview and how to answer these questions. We are going to learn how to cope with challenging questions. So, I have 5 or 6 questions that might ask you that you might find a little bit difficult, and what are the right things to say. And we're going to use a variety of relative pronouns and do an exercise based on this grammar point. Now, I'm sure you guys have been in a lot of job interviews. I'm sure they have been absolutely nerve-wracking. You were anxious. You didn't know what to say. Maybe they asked you a question and you went all red. So that's completely natural. So if you think about what kind of questions they ask you in job interviews, roughly these questions are pretty much the same. The important thing is what you're going to say in these questions, and the most important thing is the English that you're going to use if English is not your first language. So let's just have a look at some things we should do to prepare for the interview. First of all, if you can, find out who is doing the interview. Have a look at their LinkedIn account if you can. Get a sort of rough idea of who you're going to talk to. Obviously, make sure your own profile in social media is up to scratch, so you don't have any things there that are weird to look at. Research the company you're applying for. So if they ask you questions about their company, or you can mention some things as well to look that you are actually interested in them. Take a close look at the job description and make sure your answers are based on what they're asking indirectly. And also you can prepare some questions in a relaxing manner. Don't make it look like, they are being interrogated by the CIA or something like that. Okay, just make it relaxing out of interest. And definitely arrive earlier, at least 15 minutes. And be polite to the receptionist as well, guys, because sometimes they will ask her what she thought or he thought of you. Now, some common interview questions. The start of the interview is one of the most important parts. So be careful of your body language. Look comfortable, confident. You can smile, but not smile creepily, because smiling too much can be a little bit weird. Questions they might ask you at the beginning: did you get here fine? How's your journey here? And tell me a little bit about yourself. Now, keep it short here, guys, and to the point. Talk about what you did in your previous job. Maybe say a little bit about your family. Yeah, keep it short. Don't just go on and talk about your cousins and your mother and your father and things like that. So an example here of what you can say is here on the slide. And why did you decide to leave your previous job? Or why did you decide to apply for this job? You can say this is a really good opportunity for me to progress, and I believe that I can do that here. Okay, some challenging interview questions. What are your weaknesses? Definitely be honest about this, guys. Say that you might need improvement on certain aspects of your qualifications maybe, or your character, but also mention examples where you had a weakness and you were able to overcome it. Okay, what are your strengths? Choose something that is relevant to the job requirements, as we mentioned earlier on. How do you cope with criticism? Most of the time, if somebody gives you some criticism, they're trying to improve your work. So you can say, I pay close attention to what is being said. I do what I'm asked. I check again with my manager. And have you applied for other roles? I can be honest here. You can say that I looked at different opportunities, but this one is more matching to my qualifications. Now, there's some extra challenging questions that they might ask you. For example, what do you do when you have to work under pressure? You can say I focus on planning, organizing, working with my colleagues, cooperating. Salary expectation: if it's a job with more requirements than your previous one, You can say that you're expecting a slightly higher salary, but be a little bit careful there. Don't overdo it. Where do you see yourself in 3 years' time? Most companies want to see you progress. So you can say, I would like to progress to a manager's position, and I would like to do that here if I get the chance. How would you know if you're being successful? Asking for feedback from my managers when I've got something to do, when I'm unsure of things. How do you show initiative? Think about what the specific project is that you are doing, and then base your question on that. And some achievements from your previous job, make sure you have a few in mind so you can tell them that you've actually achieved and progressed in your previous job role. Now guys, as you can see here, we've got a reading passage. So I would like you to pause the video, read the passage, and answer the questions below, and we will go through the answers. So please pause the video. Okay guys, so these are the answers to the questions. Make sure you check your answers so you will see that you've got them correctly. And if you have, very, very well done. Now our grammar point for today are relative pronouns. They usually come after a noun to be more specific about what we're talking about, which might be an animal, a person, or a thing. So we use who for people and which for things. For example, he is the one who helped me yesterday. I would prefer to get a dog which happens to be my favorite animal. So specific information here about the thing or the person. We use where to talk about a place. So this is the city where I was born, specifically there. And whose in general to talk about people, animal, things. But whose shows possession, that you own something, that something is yours. This is the dog whose owner was driving that expensive car. So again here guys, this is our exercise based on the grammar. Please pause the video and use the relative pronouns who, which, where in the correct places. Okay guys, so these are the answers to the questions. Check your answers if you have done it all correct. Very, very well done to you. If not, practice makes perfect. Okay guys, so thank you very, very much for listening to my lesson. If you do want to find more lessons, you can feel free to have a look on the Udemy site by typing the name of the lesson. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Have a great day.